We're up to section 6. We're on our third and final type of concentration. We had molarity, we had molality, and now we have mass percent. This is our Chem 4 final review. Here's our problem. Well, let's do the formula first. Mass percent, notice it says mass. The other one concentration started with mole something. So we had moles of solute in the numerator. This says mass percent. We're going to have mass of the solute in the numerator. The formula for mass percent is mass of solute over mass of the whole solution times 100 to make it a percent. Since solution is solute plus solvent, you must also keep in mind, depending on what they give you in the problem, that if they don't give you the mass of the whole solution, you have to find these two, the mass of the solute and the mass of the solvent, and add them. So here's our problem. If you have 15 grams of magnesium sulfate in 50 milliliters of water, what's the mass percent? Here's our drawing. 15.0 grams magnesium sulfate in 50.0 milliliters of water. All right, so let's plug in. Our mass percent is going to equal the mass of magnesium sulfate, which is 15.00 grams, over, they didn't give us the mass of the solution. We have to find that. And we can find that by adding the mass of the solute and the mass of the solvent. So what is our mass of the solute? That's our magnesium sulfate. So we're going to bring that 15 down here. But now what is the mass of the water? You must memorize something very simple, and that is that the density of water is 1 gram of water equals 1 milliliter of water. So, if we have 50 milliliters of water, that's the same thing as saying 50 grams of water. So memorize that if you have 1 gram of water, the number of milliliters of water is going to be exactly the same as the number of grams of water. So now we have this number. 50 milliliters of water, 50 grams of water. And then to get it into percent, we multiply by 100. Well, when we do that calculation, and that works out to be mass percent equals 15.00 over, let's add these two, 65 times 100. And when we put that in our calculator, we get this wonderful number, 23.07692308%. Remember your sun, S-U-N. We have our units, that's percent. We have our number. Now we have to look at significant figures. Go back to the problem, always for significant figures. It has a decimal, so we start all the way to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 significant figures. How many here? Again, a decimal, so we start whether that's a 0 or a number. We continue to the last non-zero number. 1, 2, 3. 3 significant figures. We need to get this number to the least number of significant figures in the problem. I'm going to underline the first 3 numbers in the answer. Since our number after the last significant figure is 5 or greater, we're going to round that last number, 0, up to 1. So our answer is going to be 23.1%. That's the mass percent of magnesium sulfate in our solution. All right, so we're going to cut here, and I think we're going to get into colligative equations next, which is how does the concentration of a solute affect the boiling point and freezing point and osmotic pressure of a solution. See you then.